Something has arrived.
Now we've started.
It's mail day, and something has arrived that I've been looking for. So, a little bit of backstory. In 2020, we came out with contemplation cards, and they are these actually like kind of deceptively simple oracle deck. Each card is just a simple word in a frame on a white background. And the initial concept with the contemplation cards was as a journaling prompt, as a meditation prompt, as just stuff for your daily practice. So you'd shuffle your cards at the start of your day and just pick what's the theme for your day. Abundance. And let that be the thing you think about for the day. And let it be the prompt for your meditations or your journaling work. And that proved to be interesting and fun enough that we did an expansion, the Shadow Work deck. Similar concept where each one is a card and a single word. But in this case, the Shadow Work deck, just so you know that you're working with darker concepts, has a black background, but they are made so you can curate your own deck and put them in. Now the thing is Oracle decks and tarot decks, folks have started to use them on paranormal investigations, right? And I didn't expect these to be like divination decks, oracle decks. That wasn't how I intended them, but they're really good in a way that like, so tarot, part of the appeal is how complex each card is and like how much interpretation, how much symbolism is writ into every card. But especially for beginners or folks who are easily overwhelmed, that's a lot. Like, what is the moon card telling you? There's about 15 different things, and sometimes it depends on like what other cards are around you. When it's a contemplation card, it's a single word. It's much more direct. Now, there's still a lot of room for interpretation, as this has proven. So, as I was working with the cards for my daily practice, it became pretty obvious that they would also do the work of an oracle deck. And I started using them on investigations with a couple of Jack Osborne's shows on episodes that you don't get to see yet. They haven't aired yet. And because of that, I was like, well, you know, they do have some like application for like spirits kind of talking through the cards or the cards affirming the communication that we're getting. So,
dun, dun, dun.
Haunted Voices is the next expansion of the decks, and they arrived today.
I love how excited you are about this.
I've been so excited waiting for these to show up. All right. So excited that my fingers don't work. All right.
Oh no.
Move the box out of the way.
Okay.
These require like a pallet to be delivered. I haven't seen these yet. You get to watch me see them. Here is the sleeve of cards.
It's fancy.
Come on out. Here, hold that, dear. Okay, so of course we've kept the look with them. Similar backing, similar packaging.
Maybe
only
these are like ghost.
these are very like that spooky kind of like green. What I told Kat, who does all the design for these, what I wanted was something that was a callback to that like glow in the dark stuff that we grew up with in the 70s, that we've started to associate just through pop culture with things. So we have this sort of same backing so that you can mingle them in with all the other decks if you want to build your own deck. And here is like a misty background and that slight green glow. And there are 56 individual words that are, think of it sort of like an analog ovilus or a much less complicated spirit board where they don't have to spell words out for you. They can just be goodbye. And so the purpose of the Haunted Voices deck is less tuned for daily meditation or journaling, although you could technically use them for that. These are words that are answers to questions and communications that typically come up on paranormal investigations. You know, as someone who's been doing this for 30 years now, on TV 20 years nearly, there are certain messages that just, and questions that we ask that happen over and over and over again. Like we want to know, does the spirit feel happy? We want to know, do they feel lost? We want to know, what do they need to feel better or to move on? What happened to them? What was their life like? Are they into this communication, or do they want us to go away? And so all of those answers are worked into this deck that I am shuffling, fresh and new. I like this particular company because it's a playing deck card company usually. So they're tarot decks. If you've got small hands, especially, tarot decks are a lot to try to handle. This is the size of just a regular playing card deck. Much easier to shuffle, much more portable. And let's see what we get. We've got lots of spirits in this house, so empty. They are also assholes.
What spirits?
What spirits? Nobody here. We're not going to talk. Why would we perform like monkeys on your little live stream?
Oh dear.
Hello to everybody. Shout out from Ohio, where it is sort
80
of
degrees out.
Oh, it's summer again. It was freezing yesterday. Like I was wrapped in blankets. It's ridiculous. Yeah, right. Empty. All right. What do we got? We got lost again. Sure. Thanks.
Are people having trouble finding the live stream?
Oh,
from the spirit side of things?
That's fair. This is not their usual part of the house.
It's true.
They have rules to like sort of avoid certain parts of the house.
Oh, there was a clarifying question earlier.
Yeah.
Does Jack have a new show?
So as people probably know by now, Portals to Hell was canceled, or at least it wasn't renewed. Jack has, it's not a new show. You've seen it. Jack Osborne's Night of Terror, where he goes with various celebrity friends of his to, it's sort of like Jack's version of Make-A-Wish for his celebrity friends. Like they get to go do weird shit together. So if they want to go hunt Sasquatch, or if they want to go look for UFOs, and that's what Jason Mewes has always wanted to do, they go do that just because they can. And then a film crew comes with them. So I was involved in 2, 3. Was it 3?
Some number of, at least 2.
I think it was 2. I was involved in 2 with some fairly big name people. I didn't know who I was working with like until I took the mask off. And in this case, both of them were hauntings. And for the one I didn't know what I was going into for, like what they wanted me to do. If they wanted me to do like just a straight up blindfolded walk through the location, if they wanted spirit communication, summoning. So I brought like what I was calling my bag of tricks, which involved, a couple of decks of these, a scrying mirror, some other stuff. And the contemplation cards ended up being the main thing that we used, and we passed them around between us. And what was really neat is in this particular one, at this museum in Illinois. It was really, really great investigation. Different spirits in the location kind of glommed onto each of us. And as we passed the cards and each of us had a conversation, like this narrative emerged for each person that was relevant and topical and had a very distinct flavor from person to person. It was pretty darn cool. Tiffin, I was not in Minnesota, although, so the person Tiffin is asking is mentioning that they had a childhood friend with the same name as me when they were maybe 9. Now, the thing that I know is my name is Acadian French, and there's a lot of Bellangers, depending on how you pronounce it, in Acadian French ancestry, and Michelle is one of the family names. Which is funny because I got Michelle on accident for a completely unrelated reason. But there's actually a lot of people who share my name. A country western singer, a clog dancer, a basketball player, Another like rockabilly girl, a hypnotherapist, like naturopath in Florida, a couple of other people who I think just deleted their accounts after a while because they were really tired of being confused with me.
Oh no.
Relevant to that, also Jeff Belanger. We're not related. We joke all the time that we're related, but we're not. We might be distantly related because we are, from the same stock, Acadian French that settled through Canada and New England. And also, when they went a little more south, are known as Cajun. So those sort of French folk down in Lafayette, New Orleans. All right, so I'm sitting here shuffling stuff.
Shuffling forever.
The thing that you will notice with these is they are more for spirit communication, and they're going to be less about doing journaling work or whatnot. Like some of them would be relevant for journaling work. Search.
Are we supposed to just go on an adventure around the house trying to find the ghosts now?
No.
Are you sure?
No, I'm just not.
Because they said they don't have anything to say, and then they said basically, come
search.
find us. We're lost.
Never.
Oh. Are you sure you're not projecting into these
Find? Wow. Like I said, conversations. Yeah, no, they're hilarious. They're ridiculous.
Oh, no.
Another question comes up: would I consider doing my own show? So there's a lot of complications about doing my own show. Not the least of which being I have tits. Not to put too fine a point on it, and one of the things that has historically happened as we have pitched my show is various channels being like, we love the concept, it's awesome, but, and this is a direct quote, our audience does not find women intellectually credible. We would love to take this show on with a different host, preferably male. So anyway, I try not to be bitter about it, but the likelihood of me having a show that is just my show on any major network is very, very slim. And as I get older, it gets slimmer. And that does not preclude indie projects, private projects, YouTube projects, and things like that, like Katrina Weidman and Heather Taddy's Travel the Dead. But it does mean like, not something that you can just like go turn your TV on to Travel Channel and see me on. But, don't rule out other small things. And of course, Jack is a good friend. I continue to do work with Jack. He's one of the few people I will continue to do work with. And yeah,
there's some other fun projects.
Yeah, there's some stuff boiling around on the back burner. Yeah, it's the behind the scenes stuff is really just, it's a whole mood. And I don't know. I'm glad that I like writing my books, and I'm glad that I like making my decks and just like, doing my thing. I'm above it, I guess.
Oh my gosh.
No, they're ridiculous. They're ridiculous. Okay. So anyway, these are the Haunted Voices cards. Saying never again. Find again. I really like the same things keep coming up. It's ridiculous. Hilarious. I swear there are more than just 5 things in here, like stuck, time.
Okay.
Well, forgotten. So the challenge with writing and designing a deck that is as simple a concept as this is, to make it useful, to give it nuance. Like you have to very carefully curate those words. And again, a lot of the work was sitting down and going, what answers happen on investigations? What questions do we ask? What happens over and over again? Like, what do we always want to know? Next. So some of this is, these words can also have multiple things, like close, or close. It could be to close something. It could be that they are close to you. They could need you to be closer. And a lot of those things will be dependent upon the circumstance. Lonely, because frankly, that's something that I know a lot of the spirits tend to experience. Watch. Gift, which could be a message that you have a gift or that they need a gift in order to feel more settled. Of course, some of them are more direct, like help. Hidden, which goes along with the one immediately after it, find.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Where can people find this really cool Haunted Voices deck?
Oh, well, I have a store on my website that, like, if it were just me mailing stuff out, it would never end up in the mail. But fortunately, I have a wild Illyria who actually doesn't mind going to the post office. So on michellebelanger.com, if you poke around in the store, you will find a link for these. It doesn't have pictures of the like actual deck and cards because they literally showed up today, but there's like a little image. They will have pictures. There's the description. And also, of course, you can get the Shadow Work deck and the other deck.
Original.
And
contemplation
we
cards.
will have a 3-4 deal for this lovely little mix of things. I love Kat's design on the boxes and also just sort of like the
So
color
good.
coding. Anyway, that is our thing.
Hooray!
Let's see it. One last question. What would your advice be for trying to connect with one certain spirit while using these cards when there are multiple spirits in the house? So if you want to focus, and this would go for like any type of thing, like whether you're using these as a tool or a scrying mirror, a pendulum, whatever. If there's one specific spirit you're trying to focus on, it helps to get a trigger object or a focus object, something that either you know is tied to them directly or something that for you represents the spirit that you're trying to focus on, that gives you a sort of constant, subtle psychological prompt that this is your target. It can be as simple as their name, as a nickname you've given them, an object, like a small figurine that you have chosen to represent them, and you make that your focus of that particular spirit. Because frankly, there's some places that there's so many things, there's just so many layers to try to like sift through, that if you don't have some way of pointing your ability, you're going to get a lot of noise. Will it be available on Amazon at my Amazon store? I don't know that we actually ship stuff.
Well, so your books.
Okay,
are
yeah, the
available
books.
there,
The books
but
are available
nothing
on
else
Amazon.
is.
Amazon's really tricky for trying to get this stuff, like anything that we've published ourselves, aside from books.
Well, and the neat thing, is that if you order anything from the actual store website, it not only gets packed and shipped by us, it also gets signed by you, and really cool swag ends up in.
Well, yeah, I don't sign the decks because that requires opening the decks and taking the little plastic off, and that just sort of seems weird.
But we send cool postcards.
Yeah,
and
so
fun stickers.
Simple thing is the decks you can only get on my website. We've had stores and stuff want to carry them, but honestly, it's such a headache to try to figure out like what's the wholesale and then keeping up on. It's just simpler. So it means we sell fewer, and that's okay. But also you get cool swag. Do you want to go get a couple of the stickers?
Sure. They look so cool.
My days of touring with goth and metal bands mean I love like vinyl stickers and postcards and things that have like neat pictures and whatever that like tie into the stuff. So we've got a bunch of stuff left over from when I would do convention runs, and I also do a couple of like limited runs of fun stickers. So when you order from the store, we pick a pile of swag for you to put stickers on your refrigerator or your computer, your phone, your car. The vinyl stickers are actually indoor, outdoor, or, pass them along to somebody else if you don't really like that sort of thing. I think my favorite one so far has been the Ghosts Are People Too that Kat designed. But here's the one for Haunted Voices. Some of them are promotional, some of them are fun. This one is for a little game about necromancers called Boneyard. Let's see. There's the thing for Inspiration House. Just, fun things. My other games, Lonely House, Midnight's Kiss. Just pretty stuff. And escape. Escape. maybe that's my sign to sign off.